Anyone who tells you we haven't made any progress on race in the past 50 years is wearing blinders. But anyone who tells you that we've completed the journey, that that sort of thing is all behind us, they're fooling themselves, or they're trying to fool you. At the time of the March on Washington, it's good to remember this, there were whole sections of our country where black people, Negroes, weren't able to cast a vote, weren't able to be full participants in American democracy. It's a lot better now. The Voting Rights Act and federal enforcement of the Voting Rights Act helped see to that. That's progress. But to some people, that's a problem. Or how else can you explain what Republican-controlled legislatures in many states have been up to lately? Cutting back on voting hours, eliminating early voting and weekend voting and same-day registration, closing certain polling places, requiring new forms of identification that particular voting groups tend not to have. Particular voting groups that tend not to vote for Republicans. Discrimination? Voter suppression? The Supreme Court wants us to believe that that's all in the past. No need to have the federal government as a watchdog anymore. Let the states do whatever they want to do. And what they want to do, the evidence even in just the past few months is perfectly clear on this, they want to make it harder for certain kinds of people to cast their votes. Oh, it's more subtle now than it was 50 years ago. The rules are more nuanced. They don't prohibit this or that group of Americans from voting. They just make it harder and harder for them to vote. Meanwhile, they keep shouting about voter fraud, even though in the real world, voter fraud almost never happens. And even though the new rules they're writing wouldn't do anything to prevent the kinds of voter fraud they say they're so worried about. Doesn't matter. They say if even one vote is fraudulently cast, the integrity of the voting process is destroyed. Then what about the integrity of the voting process when hundreds and thousands of people are prevented from voting by rules that are written to do exactly that? Where's all their worry about integrity now? And one more question, 50 years after a march on Washington that was all about fairness. Why is the Republican Party so afraid of a fair fight?